Okay, and finally, we have Kat McGee, Head of Developer Relations at Hype Partners.
Hey, everybody. So good to be here. Roselle, can you guys hear me okay? Cool. Roselle, that was a super awesome talk. I know I will definitely utilize a lot of the stuff that you said. So thank you for that talk. I'm learning so much from this. I'm just going to share my screen. Cool. Yeah, so real quick, just before I get started, I'm kind of feeling a little bit sick at the moment. I came to Colombia for DevCon last week and caught something here and it's been shit. So if I have to cough or something and mute myself, apologies for that. But yeah, today I just want to talk about your checklist. It's the first DevRel Hire at a startup. This is kind of my job, to be honest. So I lead the developer relations team at Hype. We're an agency. We work with a lot of Web3 protocols into getting up their marketing, their creative stuff, and also their developer relations. So literally what I do is I go onto these startups and I create this entire DevRel strategy for them. And I'm just their first DevRel hire. So I've done this 12, 13 times or something like. So just I have this framework that I've been using. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. So first and foremost, you want to discover the company. I think we all kind of know a little bit about this. It's a bit more difficult, especially in startups and Web3 spaces. A lot of the time, the company barely even knows what they're kind of doing. But it's easy to jump right in into just doing DevRel into what you think the company wants to achieve. But really, what you should be doing is looking into their audience. Who are their shareholders? What is the next quarter, the next year look like for them, and what are their values as well? What are the kind of people they want to be talking to, and how are they actually supporting their community in this way? Another really important point is obviously how does it make money? So this is kind of related to this, is it developer plus or developer first? A lot of us as DevRels will already know what this means, but a developer plus company is one that just has its own product that makes money, and that's kind of the main product of the company. But they also might have an SDK or an API or something that devs can use on top of that. So their whole strategy is not particularly around devs, or they might be developer plus, so they're completely dev focused company. They're providing tools and services that are strictly for developers. So that kind of thing is going to depend on how your company makes money and what kind of developers they want to go for and how important DevRel is for the company. A developer first, I always find quite a lot easier to get started with, and that's kind of what I'm used to doing, seeing as I work with Web3 protocols, and a lot of them are just trying to get developers on to build projects within their ecosystem. But with that, your job is just totally essential to the whole company. You should be trying to devise a strategy that means that DevRel is the focus of the company. Working with all the departments and everything, working back and forth of the community into what you do. Developer plus, I feel is a little bit more difficult. You might have to fight for your views to be listened to, since the developers are not core users of your protocol. But it means you might not be able to focus too much on the product side of things and how they're developing that way, but you can look at the engineers and support them and help kind of support developers instead of going the other way around. So this is a slide or a image that I find. It's from 2020. It's from the State of the DevRel report. So basically, it's just saying that most kind of DevRel companies are developer plus at the moment, but I really do think that's changing. I think we're going to see a lot of first companies popping up, especially with the rise of Web3 and the rise of importance of DevRel, and how developers are becoming more of a concrete part of this Web3 ecosystem. So yeah, another thing when you're exploring the company, you also need to figure out if there's already kind of a defined persona of who they're aiming for. This is quite often not the case in a startup. They're just kind of throwing stuff out there and seeing what sticks. But you need to figure out kind of what they were doing before they had a DevRel, who was marketing targeting, what kind of people was the product team listening to, and how were they creating these solutions. This is less likely to happen in developer plus organizations, but it's good to kind of know what their target audience is anyway, because you want to know if it's enterprise software, are they going for companies? Is it going to be products for kind of indie entrepreneurs, indie hackers kind of putting something together? Are they looking for full-time social media managers? Who is this this person they're looking for that's going to help you divide your DevRel strategy. Second thing you want to do is discover the developer product itself. Obviously super important. Quite often your company is going to have multiple products for developers. So you got to look at like what is most successful. Are they solving different problems? Do these products work together? Is it like a package that you're selling, or are they kind of individual products? Like what does this look like for developers? It's also really important to look at the stage that they're at. I feel like, especially from what I've seen in startups and especially Web3 startups, a lot of the time what they're doing is kind of hypothetical, and they're like, yeah, this is gonna happen. This is what we're working on, but the developers can't get started on this yet. So your strategy for that is going to be very different from like, yeah, we have this product, we have this core product that we want developers to use. So you need to figure out like what is in the funnel, what are you kind of like wanting developers to be doing for your product, and for that you really have to be aware of the stage that they're at, where they want to go, its roadmap. If there's nothing they can do, should we be focusing on building a community around that? Should we be listening to the community more and getting DevRel involved in there so we can report back to our product? You know, maybe we should be working on more partnerships and stuff and just trying to get like our name out there. There is something developers can already do and they have like a solid thing to get started on. Should we be like making content for them? You know, what is the stage of these products? Also, how do the developer products make money? This is gonna completely like change how you work things. So if the developers pay to use the product themselves, then really what you want to do is just like, you don't really care how good your developers are or how good like their products they're making are. You just kind of want them to come to you and you want to retain them and you want to keep listening to them and like building content to help them be attracted and keep using your product. But there's another way, especially in Web3 startups that I've been working on, where devs, you know, they don't pay to use the product. They kind of like help the company make money because they build products that the users they're going to use. But you actually get the money from the users, not the developers. So that's a very different kind of strategy, because you want to be finding developers that are actually making really solid products that are going to bring users. You're going to want to promise users to your developers, and like kind of they become this much more bigger like ecosystem DevRel, rather than just like, hey devs, come use our product. So finding out how like your dev product actually makes money is concrete, is very important to how things work. Third point, looking at the current efforts, I think this is like the first thing most of us will be doing.
Kat,
so
sorry,
yeah.
The slides are stuck for some reason.
What slide are you looking at right now?
There's usually something out there for developers, even if not officially DevRel. Now it says 3 current efforts.
Yeah, this is where we're supposed to be.
Okay.
This is what I'm talking about. Cool. Yeah, so just having a look at like the current efforts that they're doing. Normally, even if there is no DevRel team, there is something out there for developers to be doing. So you kind of have to have a look at like, are there docs? Who wrote those docs? Are the technical writers in the team? Is it just like a one-time basis of the contract or something? Or the these docs, like where is this coming from? Quite often as well, there are kind of like low-key processes in place for developers to get help. So like some sort of unofficial grant system maybe, or some support system and Discord tech support channels, and there's all of this kind of support for devs that isn't officially moderated by a DevRel team. So you need to figure out like, who is in charge of this stuff, who's managing the community. Are they technical? Do they talk to each other? Do the devs have like devs in the team in the company have enough time to continue supporting the new developers that are coming on? Just kind of have a look at the whole ecosystem the company is working at the moment, and to then kind of use that to figure out where DevRel should be sitting in the company. So this is going to depend on everything we talked about. May have already been decided, but quite often in startups, they're just going to like let you have that decision. I'm sure a lot of us agree that DevRel should be its like own department that works with, you know, the product team, the engineering team, the marketing growth team, you know, like kind of working together. But, you know, sometimes if you are just in like a developer plus company, you might want to work like underneath the marketing department. You know, if it's like developer plus, it depends on how the product makes money. But, you know, maybe you want to be under like product and kind of helping devise where the product is going. So that's a really important find, is to find out where this like DevRel is going to sit, and then go with that. Sorry, I don't know got a load of random slides here. Yeah, so the next thing then you want to do is a developer experience audit. This is my favorite part of everything. It's like super fun to do, especially if you are an engineer. This is going to be super easy. Basically, you just want to find out what first question you want to ask is what developers are being attracted to the product. What developers are actually in the community, what developers are using the product. Are they the ones, the marketing team or the existing kind of growth efforts? Are they the ones that we're looking for? Who are these developers that are actually using a product? What exactly are their goals here? Second thing then you want to do within this is find out what their successes are and where their frictions are. So there's loads of different ways you can do that. I think with Web3, there's always like a Discord channel, and you can go through and just see all the questions that are being asked. Quite often you'll find that it's the same question with the same topic being asked over and over again. You can go into Stack Overflow, different community forums, and just see like where their frictions are. You want to find out what stage developers are getting to. You want to look at like if there's any analytics, have a look to see like where they're going. Are there what are they searching? Are there questions being answered? You can also just go ahead and ask your developers like, are you finding everything that you need to find? What are you finding easy about this product? What's difficult for you? Is there enough information out there? I think this is kind of overlooked sometimes. You can literally just ask your developer, first ever DevRel slogan. So just like finding out exactly what developer successes are and what their frictions are is going to help you a lot. And then I think it's also important for you to get yourself like onboarded onto the product, especially if you are technical, just like kind of onboard yourself onto the product, put yourself in the mind of different developer personas that might want to be using your product, and find out if they're successful. What are the most successful use cases? Where are you running into these problems? And find this by James Parton from the DevRel book. It's like a really cool way of kind of understanding the developer journeys. But just going through that and different kind of personas is going to help you really understand exactly like where this product is at and what you need to be doing. So next thing then, devising metrics. I think that's like DevRel's favorite conversation, is talking about KPIs. I don't want to go too much into like exactly how to do that because plenty of people are talking about that who are smarter than me. But yeah, so the audit is going to help kind of guide what the first thing is you want to change or improve. You're going to know basically straight from this audit, like, okay, these are the biggest problems developers are having. This is the most awesome thing about a product that everybody loves. So this is what we want to focus on. But this is the thing, these are where developers are getting stuck, or this is like the kind of developers that we're not attracting that we want to be. So you're going to want to use this audit to like, figure out what are the first things that you want to be changing or improving or just removing from the product. Could be a whole lot of different things. And once you do that, then you need to figure out like what departments do you need for this to succeed. I think it's super important, especially in like developer first companies, to get other departments involved. I think it's also quite difficult for DevRel on this anyway. Like it's quite often we're hired as a team and we just kind of work separately, but it's so important for us to like work with these other departments. So if we like don't have any technical marketers in our team and they're maybe looking at different kind of developers, and we've discovered that the developers we're attracting are not really what they want to be affecting, probably what we want to do is just put together this list of personas and exactly where they might hang out and what they want to be doing and what they want to use our product for and where in their journey they are, and just like go to the marketing team and say, hey, these are the new personas you want to be looking at, and then they can do their thing. They can do the thing that we've kind of helped like devise that for them. For a developer plus company, and there's like we have non-technical community managers, and the issue is that developers don't really know where to go in the community to find help because the community is all about the product rather than the developer product. Probably what you want to do then is like talk to these community managers and be like, okay, let's set up a place for developers to ask for tech support. Here's an FAQ. Here's some resources I put together. Go off and do your thing. Come to me if you need some help, and support them in that way. So maybe like your biggest friction that you find when you're doing a DevRel audit is that there's no like incentive for developers to get started. And maybe what is attraction into your product, especially if it's like a developer first product that maybe doesn't necessarily plug into what they're doing. It's something with like coding a smart contract or something on a blockchain. So maybe the product is like a whole new ecosystem. So you need to be you need to support in like finding users as well, finding developers, and kind of use that for like getting developers to start your product. So you need to be focusing a lot on how you're going to get users to these developers, and maybe you want to focus on kind of getting teams together and helping like marketing those particular products themselves, so developers can come and get help in that way. So just like a lot of different departments can help you in what you're doing, and you shouldn't be doing it alone, because you can just like 10x your things just by getting like 2 departments involved. But yeah, then you got to create the KPIs. So once you've kind of decided exactly what you're going to be fixing and who you're going to need support from and who you're going to support into doing this is probably one of the hardest things to do, is figure out exactly how you're going to measure success. And it's obviously super important, and we talk about this all the time. There's loads of resources out there for how to like devise the correct metrics for what you're doing. You don't want to go too big. You don't just want to be like, okay, well, we want the number of developers to increase by like 1,000 in the next month. I think that's not really telling you that what you're doing is successful. So you want to be small. You want to be focusing on the things that you're actually changing. So if you want to just like attract more developers, maybe you're looking for views on a blog, or maybe you want to like help developers find the support that they need more. You should be looking at analytics to make some sort of like metrics based on their developer journey throughout your docs. So that's like super important. You need to be like measuring the things to see whether or not you want to change what you're doing. And also being able to actually support your DevRel team to the rest of the company, especially if it's Developer Plus. You want to be like, hey, what we're doing is actually working. Here's the success metrics to show that. So the final thing, building up a strategy. What I generally say is just to kind of like plan the next couple of months, especially for startups. Like you want to get started as soon as possible, having just all the stuff written down about what you want to do, what your numbers are and everything. That's all great, but startups just want you to go and do it. So you should really have like kind of a big plan for the next 2-3 months. This includes like, maybe you want to create some systems like grant programs, ambassador programs. You want to have like bounties and stuff out there. Maybe this plan could involve like how you're going to work with other departments. What are you going to build personas for people? You're going to create a process for some sort of campaign for developers. This would also involve like a content calendar and who's going to be involved. Are you going to write this? Is someone else going to write this? You have to hire someone for your team. But allow yourself some ability to change this, especially with startups. You need to be constantly like updating and iterating what you're doing, which is why I think this should be very small. And then if it's working, if your KPIs are showing that you're doing well, just keep this going. But yeah, just to kind of summarize, first thing you want to do is find out what the company goals, find out what their values are, find out how they're making profit. Then you're going to find out what the developer products are, and how they are currently supporting the company. Then you're going to want to look into current DevRel efforts and how the team is working together for DevRel. Even if there's no DevRel team, there's likely going to be some things out there for developers. Then you want to run an audit on developer experience and just like see all the different developer journeys, how they're working together. Then with that developer, all the stuff that you've done, figure out what the initial things you want to change or improve are, and then use that to build up a 3-month, 2-month, 3-month strategy. Thanks, guys. This is awesome. Thanks for listening. If you want to get to know me a little bit more, this is my Twitter, @McGee. Feel free to DM me some questions there.
Thank you so much, Kat, and thank you to our previous speakers as well. We are now bringing you in one more lightning talk. This time, we'll turn to developers' career aspirations and how you can use this information to support your communities. These insights are being brought to you by Simon Jones, who is a data storyteller at /data. Simon, over to you.